Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Nick. This is a channel called Watchlist Roulette, a channel dedicated to cinema and the discussion. Oh, the mic fell. The mic fell. Okay, we're back, I think. This is a channel called Watchlist Roulette. This is a channel called Watchlist Roulette, and a channel that is dedicated to cinema. The intro was completely skewered. Which I'm going to explain to you why that happened. We've got a new microphone today. If you are a viewer or a listener of this series that I do on this channel, you maybe were there for the last episode where I said I was going to invest in a better audio setup, and I have. I got a new microphone. Is it working out perfectly right now? Maybe not. And what I've done is that I got this microphone, and let me tell you, I can hear my voice back, and I can actually focus on what the levels are, and I can actually hear myself speaking through it. And just from that, it already sounds a lot better. I hope that you agree. Let me know how it sounds. I hope it sounds good. That is the whole point of buying a microphone to do something like this. But I failed to do a little bit of homework, and I did not realize that I was only getting the microphone, and then there was not going to be any stand or any swing arm or any kind of mount. And so I have put together this ghetto MacGyver-esque. Okay, there's no beating around the bush here. I took an old little Gorilla Pod. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like a very small tabletop tripod, almost for, cameras, but also for phones when you're filming with a phone and you need a tripod. I took one of those and I just duct taped it to shit and just duct taped the microphone to it. And it's hanging on by a thread. The mic is heavier than the tripod, and so it just fell over when we began there, and whatever, no big deal. Let's just get this rolling. Because today is a little bit of a tight schedule, and honestly, there's not going to be a whole lot of editing. It's going to be bang, bang, bang. This one, we're going live, man. I've already talked about emulating the Bill O'Reilly, fuck it, we'll do it live approach. We're going to have to do a little bit of that today because the schedule is tight lately. But today we're going to be talking about Black Bear, a film from 2020, directed by Lawrence Michael Levine, I believe. Aubrey Plaza, Christopher Abbott. I believe the other actress's name is Sarah Gadon or Gadon. I really hope I didn't pronounce that incorrectly, and if I did, well, that's too bad. And this is the second film of April in Watchlist Roulette. If you are new here and you've stumbled upon this, maybe you just wanted to hear somebody talk about Black Bear. This is a series I do. It has lately been an audio-only format, which I have a lot of fun doing. I enjoy recording these very much, where I just shoot the shit and discuss films that I have been watching. But these films are picked for me at random. I have taken a list of 1,200 films on letterboxd that I've never seen, and I have them randomly generated out of a hat for me. There are many, many, many possibilities, but at the end of the day, I don't pick any of these films. They are picked for me. And Black Bear was picked for me for this week. And once a month, I introduce a new slate of films to randomize. So for April, we already had Together. This is Black Bear. We still have Carlito's Way and The Young Girls of Rochefort on the way. I said I was going to be doing Carlito's Way this week. I screwed up. It didn't end up happening. But that's okay because I kind of have to put the last two films almost like into 1 week because I started April late. So if you follow this and by some miracle you watch the films along with me, that's really cool. I can't tell you how stoked I would be to hear that. If you watched Carlito's Way and you did your homework like I did, don't worry. It's not going to waste. That'll be in a couple days, like early in the week coming up. And it's the weekend now, so let's get rolling. And let's just get into talking about Black Bear because I do have some stuff to just talk about afterward regarding the channel and regarding what I'm doing next. And I'm going to save that for after because I'll just ramble. And a lot of things going on. Again, busy time. But the future of the channel will be discussed in a little bit afterward, as well as new things I'm going to be doing with the channel and other shit. So here we go. I've already been recording for 5 minutes. Get the wheels on the bus, for the love of God. Black Bear is this indie that I went into with not a whole lot of hope. Again, if you follow this channel, I do a video each month for the randomizer picks. And when this came up for me, if you watched that video and now you're here, you might remember I wasn't super enthused. I thought it was going to be a very boring month of films, and Black Bear was part of that, and I just thought, man, I don't even really know if I want to watch this. I don't even know why it's on this list, but it is, and so I have to roll with it, man. And I'm just gonna get into talking about what this film is and how it subverted my expectations of what I thought it was gonna be. So, Black Bear, Aubrey Plaza's character, she's playing this independent filmmaker. She is on a little bit of a hiatus, in a little bit of a creative rut, I think it's assumed. And she goes to this nice vacation home out in the Adirondack Mountains. She is joining a couple there. The husband, or, well, you know what? They're not married. I think they're just boyfriend and girlfriend. The man played by Christopher Abbott, the girlfriend played by Sarah Gadon, and Aubrey Plaza's character is she's looking for inspiration, new ideas, new things to try in her writing. You often see bits of her writing in a notebook throughout this film, and she is stuck, and she's trying to unstuck, to put it very simply. And in the process of being a part of this vacation home, she kind of ends up being this third wheel amongst a man who is very on edge, maybe drinking a little bit too much. His wife is pregnant, and she's drinking even though she shouldn't be, which is fun. You don't see a whole lot of films where pregnant women get hammered, but here's one of them. If you're into that, cool. This would be up your alley. And so in the beginning of this film, he is a musician, claims himself to be a professional musician. His girlfriend doesn't take him seriously. There is very much a tension between these two. Aubrey Plaza's character, who presents herself as this other creative that gets along with the man, and they are both attracted to one another. She kind of drives a wedge in between this relationship, and it becomes very tense through the first 40 minutes, which is this whole sequence of arguments and philosophical conversations and characters providing their perspectives on the world, and they're all clashing. Throughout that first 45 minutes, I felt like I was at a party that I couldn't leave. Like you're handcuffed to the table. Like I just want to get the fuck out of here because it becomes so uncomfortable. And there's a clash of political belief and personal belief and criticism of each other's character and sexual, romantic tension. And it just feels like a mess. It just feels like a powder keg ready to go off. And through the first 45 minutes, it is that. It is a social nightmare. And to be completely honest, I was enjoying it. I was having a lot of fun with it. It was a very simple kind of chamber episode type approach where it's just three people talking in a room. And often the heat of the conversation and the tension rises, and it becomes very anxiety-inducing, but very entertaining to watch these three characters bounce off one another very aggressively. And then from that point on, it cuts to black, and there's this part two, and it provides this title card, and it's part two, and now we are seeing Aubrey Plaza's character sitting on this dock like she is in the beginning of the film. And now we are seeing her presented in front of a film crew, and now we are kind of seeing Aubrey Plaza's character in this same world, at this vacation house in the Adirondack Mountains, same place, different people with her, and it's just a film crew creating this film, and she is drawing ideas from this vacation she had with this couple. And to be completely honest, I'm not going to be very good at explaining why all of it works or how things work or what happens. For me, it becomes a little bit confusing and a little bit convoluted. It was, I think it's more that I'm stupid, not that the film is poorly done. But some of the second half confuses me. But this film turns on a dime. Once you see that they're in this film set and there's this boat with a camera crew and microphones shooting Aubrey Plaza's character on the dock from far away, there was like almost this, and it's a stupid comparison, but to me, there was like almost this taste of cherry, Abbas Kiarostami-esque moment where now you're in a film within a film and the lines of reality are blurred. And I got that feeling. And when that happened, all bets were off. I always write notes when I'm doing these Watchlist Roulette films. And I wrote like a page of notes on the first 45 minutes of this film. And then once we hit the halfway point and things changed completely, I pretty much had to throw all those notes out the window because the film turned into something I didn't know it was going to turn into. I pretty much just assumed the entire film was going to be this triangle, this awkward, aggressive, tension-filled social triangle from the beginning of the film. I thought that that's what the entire film was going to be, and it wasn't. It turned into something completely different. We got to see the filmmaker side of Aubrey Plaza's character and her kind of locking horns with this snobby, pretentious, shithead indie filmmaker who was played by Christopher Abbott, and you were seeing the same actor who played that on-edge boyfriend character in the first act. You were seeing him almost create this new character, and he's like this very snobby, pretentious indie director, and he does it so well. He does both of those characters so well. That's one of the strong suits of Black Bear for me, is that multiple characters, all three of those main cast members, portrayed kind of like different characters, different personas, and they all do it very convincingly, and they're all very versatile, and they shapeshift into those roles quite well. And in the second half of the film, it turns into a filmmaking nightmare. Not the film Black Bear, but the film that they are making called Black Bear. They are making a film called Black Bear inside this movie, and it is very meta, and there are many dimensions to it. But the rest of this film turns into this chaotic sequence of following all these different characters through this film set, and the nightmare of making the film. And the perspective from the camera is pinballing you from one room to another, and just showing you all the chaotic corners of making a film like this. And you've got Aubrey Plaza's character, who is at odds with Christopher Abbott's kind of like director role, as she's playing the actress. They are at odds creatively. They're not getting along personally. There's a romantic tension between them and somebody else that the director's involved with. This all becomes very heavy. Aubrey Plaza's character starts drinking way too much. That affects her ability to perform in front of the camera. But it also plays into her character that she's playing in the film very, very well. And every moment of this film from the second half on is, again, just pinballing you from one room to another, where it is moving very quickly and the camera is always moving, and you're going from one character who maybe smokes a little bit too much weed or gets food poisoning, and then when they decide to run to the bathroom, the camera shifts to another side of the set where there's a bunch of girls crying and just complaining what's the word I'm looking for? I can't edit this out. Just commiserating about everything going on in their personal lives and with the film. And Christopher Abbott, he is frustrated. His character is just on the brink of snapping throughout the film, and he's trying to mediate all of this and bring it all together. And then the camera will bounce over to him, and the perspective will show him becoming frustrated with people on the set because the lines aren't being fed to the actors properly. The cameras and everything aren't set up the way they should. The film turns into this meta film within a film, and you're watching all of these characters go through this great existential crisis as they're trying to put this film together. And in the meantime, I was just kind of very impressed and very drawn in and engrossed by it, and getting to see these three main actors play many different roles. And it becomes a little bit confusing. It by the end of it, there were things that I couldn't totally explain to you, and even when I think about it after and reminisce on what it was, I have a tough time putting together all the pieces. That's just what it did to me. But on some of the stronger suits, and it was very funny and taxing, anxiety-inducing. I did not expect it to be that type of film that was overwhelming with anxiety. Everything that happened through the second half, I really didn't expect it to get that heavy and that hectic. Going into it, I really didn't expect much. And I got more than I bargained for, and I liked it a hell of a lot more than I thought I would. Maybe the best part of it was, again, watching all these actors just become so versatile and create such variety in what they can do. Aubrey Plaza is an actress that I've always liked. I've always been like, man, at some point she's going to put forth a really great performance that's really going to show off her craft and her ability, and people are going to remove her from defining her by her shtick. You know, you play a beloved TV character for a long time. People get to know you as that TV character. You star in a couple comedies, and maybe they don't do well, and maybe you don't have a great enough opportunity to kind of try new things and show people what you can do as an actor or an actress. And in this film, I far and away, no competition, the best performance I've seen her give. Full stop. No comparison. There are other things I can mention that I think she's pretty good in. Ingrid Goes West is a pretty good one. Really creepy film and really creepy character and performance from her. Not my type of thing at all, but I watched White Lotus season 2. My sister and her boyfriend were kind of watching it, and I stopped in and I sat down and I was like, oh, I'll watch an episode. I see some cast members I like. Ended up just sitting there like a couch potato, binging the entire season on like one night or 2 nights. I can't remember. And I remember thinking, okay, this is maybe some of the best I've seen from Aubrey Plaza. She really gets a really meaty, dramatic role to chew on, and I was impressed with that. Honestly, I like that White Lotus show more than I thought, or more than I care to admit. It's just not my type of thing, and I haven't seen season 1. Maybe one day. I don't know. But this performance in Black Bear, without a doubt, the most impressive I've seen Aubrey Plaza. And not only is it these big, flashy moments of outburst, but she does a few things really well here. In the first act of the film, she plays one character. In the second half of the film, she's playing a regular person and an actress off the camera, but then you get to see her portray another character on camera. Again, the film within a film thing. And she's getting so drunk throughout the film. And the drunkenness works for her character because her character is this angry, jealous mess. Recreating bits of what happened in the beginning of the film with her experience on vacation. And really, like, it's kind of like you kind of get to see her play 3 characters in one. And for any complaints that she plays the same person in every movie she's in, that maybe some people would give out that very shallow interpretation. This is a film that kind of proves that she can do way more than that. And not only that, she plays a great drunk. I'll tell you that much. Like, in terms of people I've seen convincingly play somebody who is shit-faced, I thought she did a really good job with that. And really, from each of the characters she played, I thought she did a great job. Same thing with Christopher Abbott. He has to play one character then another, and he convincingly separates the two. Same with Sarah Gadon. They're all really good at showing off their versatility as actors. And I got to say, that's the strong suit of the film. The hectic and anxiety-inducing element of it. There are so many anxiety-inducing films that I love that I could mention on this channel, and it fit into that food group pretty convincingly, and I wasn't expecting it. And I liked it a hell of a lot more than I thought I would. That's really all I can say about Black Bear. And yeah, I would say if maybe you're not expecting much from this film like I was, give it a shot. It's a lot more fun than I thought it would be. A lot more inventive, a lot more complex, and it just went places that I didn't think it would. And I thought it was really cool. I don't love it, but I was really impressed with it. I went in with my expectations on the floor. The bar was touching the floor. Anything above that, and I would be happy with it. And I think sometimes you go into films with very low expectations, and it ends up being highly rewarding because you just get so much out of it when you kind of went in not expecting much at all. And that was my experience with Black Bear. I thought it was pretty solid. Yeah, I mean, we didn't really strike gold today, but a solid bronze, I would say. And again, going in with low expectations and not knowing what to think. That is why I do this. I keep doing this. I keep randomizing films, and there are some days where I have to admit I don't really want to watch the particular film. Together last week, Black Bear this week. There are films that you're just like, man, I don't really even know if I want to do this, and I'm going to force myself to for entertainment's sake. But then you are surprised. You are proven wrong. I never have a problem admitting that I'm wrong, and this is a good opportunity to eat crow and say, eat my hat and say I was wrong. It was a lot better than I thought, and so much more interesting and refreshing than I expected. And that's why I got to keep doing it. I know for a fact I would never watch this on my own. I would have never sat down and said, you know what, I'm going to watch Black Bear today. It never would have happened. It would have to be picked for me, like it is in this case. And again, just being so surprised by the quality of it, it's like, how many other films are out there that I'm not bothering to touch or look into that might really surprise me? So the whole Watchlist Roulette program is awesome, and I need to keep doing it, and I will continue to do it as long as I can. Nowhere near stopping, of course. Don't worry. I'm going to do this for a long time, hopefully. Commitment is one of the hardest things that I have an issue with. So it's just a matter of staying disciplined. But man, many interesting films out there that I would never go to on my own accord, and this is one of them. So we need to keep the train rolling. That is the only way we explore and expand our horizons and grow cinematically. Black Bear, I do recommend it. If you haven't watched it yet, check it out. It's interesting. You might not love it. I've seen some people who love this film. I've seen some people who are kind of just like, it's whatever. And then people like me who kind of sit in the middle who are just like, damn, that wasn't what I expected, but it was fucking cool. And that's where I'm at. I think it's well worth your time if you want to give it a shot. So hell yeah, Black Bear. Good recommendation today. Next week, a little bit of a jam, a 2-pack. It should be Carlito's Way and Young Girls of Rochefort by Jacques Demy. I'm looking forward to that one for sure. And then in May, we're going to start all over again with a batch of new randomized films. I'm on fire today, man. Usually I have to cut and edit and run around, but this is like, we're really rolling here. So yeah, cool. And the one thing I want to say is that another part of like having a hard time watching films like this, I'm in a rut right now, like a movie watching rut, a drought, if you will. I'm wondering if you are listening to this or watching this and you've made it this far, chances are you are more interested in film than the average person. You just are if you are here and you're still listening, which means you probably watch a lot of films. I don't know. Does this ever happen to you where you just get in a rut, a drought, and you're just like, I can't think of anything to watch. I can't think of anything to get into. I don't feel like getting into anything. You kind of just drift off and enter this funk where you're just like not watching a whole lot. And that's kind of where I'm at. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm just kind of like in a very, I started going on a roll reading books, which has been great. One of the best things I've done in a long time. Stanley Cup playoffs are coming, starting today. And I'm a diehard hockey fan. Maybe not as much as I was growing up, but when the playoffs roll around, oh my God, it will take a chunk out of your life. Like sitting in front of the TV or looking up things on the internet and fantasy pools and leagues. And oh man, at this time of year, it consumes me. Other stuff, music related stuff, like there's a lot to take in. And then at some point every year, I think with letterboxd now, we all look at the way we watch films and how we organize them. And to me, it's like become an annual thing. How many films did you watch this year? How many did you watch the next year? So on and so forth. And every year when I look through my profile on Letterboxd, without fail, there is a rut. There is a drought. There is a whole lot of not anything happening for me. And then at some point, there is always a point where things kick back in. And when they kick back in, it kicks in a big way. And it's like a gold rush where all I'm doing is watching films. So we're in a little bit of an in-between place here. But this channel and these videos are keeping me, motivated to keep watching good shit. And yeah, I mean, hopefully what I'm doing right now, working on this channel and the Watchlist Roulette series is enough to drag me through the dog days of the year where I'm just not watching much. What do you do if you get into a rut like this? If you ever experience something like this, let me know what your solutions are, your ideas to kind of shake the rust off and get back into watching films. If that's something you go through. I see some people, and I follow some people on Letterboxd who just watch like at least more than one per day in a year, like over 365. I don't know how they do it. I've never been close to that, and I have no clue how some of those people do it. If you're one of those people, congratulations. I kind of envy you. And tell me how you do that, man. So They're my questions for you as an audience. What do you do to get out of a rut? When it comes to anything, when it comes to watching films, maybe you read, maybe you listen to, maybe you're a gamer. There are just ruts where you're just like, I don't really want to do this. And you kind of just go a month or two just not doing any of it. And it just feels foreign because you spend so much of your free time doing it. And all of a sudden there's a hole there, but you don't feel like it. So what do you do to get out of that drought? And for the people who watch, 500 films a year, how do you operate? So, so that's about it, man. I'm really liking this episode. It's longer than I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to be a 10-minute episode, but it is a rant today. We're going live, and this is, no editing. What you get is what you get. I'm pretty happy with that. Stuff to come on the channel. I'm going to be doing a video on what I watched in April, hopefully. A month overview. I think that's the best way to do it. There's a lot of stuff that's come out in theaters lately that I've gone to see. Been watching some old favorites, discovering a handful of films here and there, trying to just keep moving, keep chugging along. I wanted to do some standalone reviews for films that came out this month. Monkey Man, Civil War. I'll get a chance to talk about that in a video like this. I'm also pretty stoked because where I am, and when you're in a drought like this, you're always like, you always circle things on your calendar, whether it's a new movie coming out or something that you're going to do where you're like, this is going to get me out of the drought. And for me, me and a buddy of mine, we live in Canada. The main chain of theaters in Canada is Cineplex. I don't know if they're doing this in the U.S., and I don't know if they're doing this in whatever country you're listening in, where you are globally. But where I live, they're doing like a Stanley Kubrick retrospective, and they're playing all his films in theaters, like all of them. Not even just the big hitters, like everything, like Killer's Kiss, Fear and Desire, Paths of Glory, the old stuff, Lolita. But they're playing all the big ones too. And a buddy of mine and I, in like a week from now, are going to be going to see Eyes Wide Shut in a theater presentation. Honestly, I've only seen Eyes Wide Shut once, but I loved it. I sometimes think it's my favorite Kubrick film. I think 2001, A Space Odyssey might be his best, might be his most important, easily one of the most important films ever made, and one of my favorites of all time. But I feel like there's always a difference between the best film and your favorite film. And I sometimes think Eyes Wide Shut is my favorite Kubrick, and I'm excited to see it a second time on the big screen, and I'm sure I'm going to have a lot to say about that. Going to be doing some book videos, some kind of, I don't know, booktube newbie tag thing. I don't know what kind of crowd that's going to attract. but or if they're going to want to watch a guy talk about books on a movie channel. Going to be talking about what I've been reading so far this year, and hopefully just do a couple book videos here and there, maybe once a month, and talk about what I've been reading and what I've been getting into. Starting a journey of adult reading from a long, long time inactive in reading, writing, and literature. So that's going to be fun. Other stuff, I don't know, man. Let's just see where the road takes us. If you're new here, you've made it all the way to the end. Holy shit, somebody get you a gold sticker, a gold star, because I'm impressed. And if you made it to the end, then hopefully that means that you liked it. If you want, you can subscribe. No pressure. I have no interest in fishing for subscriptions or getting under people's skin or breathing down your neck about, join the cult. But hey, if you want to join, you want to stick around and see more like this, then welcome aboard, man. And if you're regular here and you listen and you watch, man, I really appreciate it. The only reason this channel exists is because I just wanted a platform to shoot the shit about film. Just talk, self-expression, creative outlet. And if you were here and you're cool with all of that, then that is awesome. That's really all I want to do. Thank you. This has been a good one. I'm running out of breath. And now I got to go jump in a car and drive for an hour or two and yeah, hitting the road. But anyway, nice little podcast hangout vibe for this episode, which is what I'm going for with this series going forward. I just want it to be a nice, relaxed hangout thing. And everything else I make on the channel will be edited and much tighter and much more cohesive. But yeah, man. Hell yeah. So I'll see you next week unless I do something before then. Probably not. Carlito's Way, Al Pacino, Dunkachino as you might know him, Brian De Palma film, as well as Young Girls of Rochefort by Jacques Demy, which I'm looking forward to. And then when we turn over in May, we're starting over again. And hopefully we get some good stuff. So thanks again. Take care of yourself. I'll see you later.